There we go. The little reminder helps, I guess. What's up, Nathan? Katie, good morning. It's been so long since I've seen you. Cool. So, okay, here's kind of what my thoughts are for this today. I want to keep it relatively short and simple and make sure that we also have a couple minutes for question and answer. I did something like this for our team about a week ago as things started to become, we'll call it more interesting with everything that's going on and all of the unknowns that we have right now. And they really liked it. And so I had a couple other people ask. I've done this for multiple other companies, big and small so far. And so I don't know, I want to help as many people right now understand that despite all the things going on that we have no control over, we have no control over really, whatever the government's going to do, whatever this virus is going to do, and those types of things. We don't have control over that. But what we do have control over is our thoughts. We have control over the way we desire to feel and what we choose to think about in every moment, regardless of what's going on around us. And nobody or no thing can ever take that away from us. And those of us that choose specific thoughts or certain thoughts during these times of uncertainty are going to come out of this on the other side. I kind of think about it as like a slingshot, right? Like right now, we're using a lot of additional muscles to be conscious and be aware of what it is that we're choosing to think about. So we're pulling back that slingshot. We're using muscles that we generally haven't used or haven't stretched that much. And when we come out of this on the other side, it's going to be like letting that go, and it's going to launch us into greatness, whatever that means. And also those of us that choose to have certain thoughts during this time and take control over the things that we have control over, we are going to be the ones that the rest of the world and the rest of the businesses and the rest of our teams and our families need as leaders to help pull them through these uncertain times. So that's you guys, that's everybody on this call. So I'll share a couple things around that. And the primary objective is just having everybody be aware by the end of the call that, or let's see, being conscious of what it is that we're thinking about. So a lot of times we have all these thoughts that just churn and burn in our brain all day long, right? We have, some people call it our monkey mind. Scientists and studies show that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. So if you think about it, a lot of those thoughts are happening and we're not even aware that they're happening. So if we can become a little bit more aware of what it is we're thinking about, we can choose to change that and think about something differently. Because again, there's a lot of stuff we don't have control over. And really, there's almost no point in thinking about it. There's no point in watching every news channel and reading every article about what may or may not be happening, because it just doesn't serve us. It's not using our creative power. It's not using our thoughts, moving us toward the future and the feelings and the emotions that we desire to have. So if anybody does have questions, you can either type them in the chat if you're familiar with using this, or I'll open it up in just a couple minutes because I want to make sure that I'm answering any specific questions that you have so that you can go through your days even better. Okay, so being aware. Simply the fact that we're talking about being aware right now will help you become more aware as you go through the day about what those thoughts are that you're thinking about. And one thing that one of the companies that I did this training for, it's a company of multiple hundred people. One of the things that we talked about when we did that was you can write down your thoughts. So you can keep a little notepad next to your desk in your phone, wherever you want to keep it. And just as you have thoughts, just write them down. And have no judgment around what those thoughts are. Even if that thought is, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my job, I'm not going to have any money, whatever the worst possible case thought is, write it down, but have zero judgment around it. Have zero attachment. We're all human. We're going to have human thoughts and we're going to have human emotions. But just because we have that thought, or our monkey mind has that thought, doesn't mean that it makes that thought true. And it doesn't mean that we have to believe it. So one way of being more aware of those thoughts is keeping a little journal, keeping something where you're writing down what those thoughts are, and then we can choose differently. So I thought that was a really great one that that this team has been using, because there is so much. I'll call it uncertainty. I prefer actually a different name. I prefer to call it the exciting unknown, because why not be excited about the unknown? It sure makes it a lot more. It makes us think about all the opportunities that may come out of this. So again, just remembering right now that a lot of things we don't have control over, but we do have control over our thoughts. So just consciously become more aware as you go through the day about what those thoughts are that you're having. And then you can choose whether or not you desire to believe in them, or you can just simply say, okay, that's just a thought. Like, I'm going to write it down. It's out of my mind. And I'm going to choose something different. So right now in these times is a great amount of opportunity. And there's a great amount of opportunity for us as leaders to ask really good questions instead of kind of sticking towards fear. What if we ask questions like, how can I serve today? Who can I serve today? Whose life can I make an impact on today? Who needs my help today? And these are the types of things that really get our brain focused in the right direction. And instead of focusing inward on, like selfish thoughts about, oh my gosh, like, do I have enough toilet paper? Do I have this? Like, make sure that you have that stuff, but then drop all of those other thoughts and put the focus on, who can I serve? Who can I help? How can I come out of this better than I went into it? What are the opportunities right now for myself, my family, my friends, my community, my country, my world, whatever those are? Utilize that creative power that we each have as individuals to move us toward a better future right now, as opposed to moving us backwards or kind of getting into the whole fearmonger stuff. Next, take time for yourself. A lot of us are either self-quarantined or just kind of staying indoors, or whatever you want to call it, right? Which also means that a lot of us have more free time. And if we choose to spend that free time wisely, it's a heck of a lot more fun. So what I've talked about with my team and some of the other companies is, now this is a great time to lean into one of those things that you've been interested in picking up. So a lot of us aren't driving as much, so we're not driving to work. We're keeping maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, whatever that is. We're keeping all of this time to ourselves that we would normally spend like stressed and running around. So what's that thing that you've wanted to do? A lot of people in our community are talking about meditation. Meditation, in my opinion, is probably the number one thing that you can use or pick up right now to benefit yourself. Now is a great time to start practicing meditation, quieting the mind, and connecting with this much greater universal source energy that we have access to as humans. Now is a fantastic time to do it. When the world is a lot quieter, it makes it easier. So utilizing this time right now to start a meditation practice is fantastic. And again, there's no judgment of yourself or anything like that, especially when you start meditation, because there's no way to do it wrong. Simply doing it, simply sitting down and closing your eyes is correct. That is meditation. And there's some cool apps out there. If you want some of those, I can give them to you. But like, I think Insight Timer, Calm, there's a lot of them. And there's a ton of them right now that are offering it for free. So meditation is my number one. Physical fitness is a great one. We have John Mancuso on the call. John set up a group called Quarantine 2020, which I can share with everybody that's on here if you want. And he's doing a live workout every day at some predetermined time that he posts in the group. So he's bringing together this community where when everybody feels kind of separated, and he's doing it through fitness. So now, instead of just sitting around the house, we're physically moving. We're physically being more connected with our bodies. We're getting in better shape, which is fantastic. And then just, maybe things like reading, learning Spanish. There's a ton of apps out there. What's that book that you've had sitting on your desk forever that you keep saying, when I have a moment, I'm going to pick it up? So again, remember, all this ties back to, we have choice in our thoughts and what we choose to focus our time and energy on. And so when we become more aware of those thoughts that we're thinking, and become more aware of where we're spending our time, we can consciously choose differently. And now is an amazing time to focus that energy on learning and growing for ourselves, or focusing it on our community and serving others. So I'm going to, anybody that has a specific question, either drop it in the chat or unmute yourself and ask it. I want to make sure that I hit on any questions that people have specifically. There's a lot of people that are going through very challenging times. Maybe you have a family member that's sick. Maybe you're separated from your family. Yesterday, when I did this with a big company, they had a woman who has a lot of family in China who can't really get connected with them. And she's very nervous and she's very scared for her family. And she said, how do I control my thoughts, and what can I do for them right now? And what I told her was that, because she said she's not sleeping, she's sitting there worrying about them all the time. Like, how do you control your thoughts when they're so emotionally charged like that? And what I shared with her is this. Have you ever had the experience where you think about somebody, you think about a friend, a family member, whatever that is, and then all of a sudden the phone rings and it's them, or they write you an email, or they message you on Facebook, or they like a Facebook post? Some sort of a coincidence like that. Most of us have had an experience like that. And what that is it's a great reminder that we're all connected by this energy field. And up until 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, scientists knew that it existed, but they couldn't quite prove it. And they've made huge leaps and bounds in actually proving that this energy field that connects all of us exists, just in the last couple of years, which is great because now we have science backing what we've known for a long time. Point being is that we're all very deeply connected by this energy field. So for this woman, what I shared with her was that whatever you're thinking about and whatever energy you're putting out to your family, they're receiving that. So if you're putting out energy of fear and frustration and unhealth, anything that you're putting out in this nervous energy, they're receiving that. So the best thing that you can do right now for them is put out feelings of compassion and love and healing, and just talking to them and saying things like, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm watching you. I'm watching over you. That's the best thing that you can do. And it was amazing. She broke down and started crying. And that's what she's been doing ever since. So now she's using that same energy for good, to show her family that she can't really communicate with, that she's actually here, and she's sending them that positive information. Okay, cool. Anybody have questions or a specific scenario like that they maybe want a little help reframing right now, or thinking about a little bit differently? If so, unmute yourself or type it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll share a couple more things and then we'll jump off and everybody can get moving on their day, whatever. I don't know. Okay, so a lot of the things that people are thinking about, or other charged thoughts that that can kind of seem to take control, is making decisions. So we have certain things that we're deciding about each day. Like, for example, should I go to the grocery store? Should I not go to the grocery store? Well, this one's not relevant anymore, but last week when I talked about it, it was, should I take my kids out of school? Should we stay at home? Should we self-quarantine? Whatever those decisions are, make those decisions for yourself now. Just make whatever decision you think is best. And then once that decision is made, don't worry about it any longer. Just drop thinking about it. You've already made the decision. Don't give it any more of this back and forth energy. And even write down that list of what those decisions are that you've already chosen to make, so that you're not sitting there letting those types of thoughts and that's wavering back and forth control where you're putting your energy each day. So make those decisions now. Um, you know, I'm not telling anybody as far what they should and shouldn't be doing. I would recommend making sure that everybody has a couple weeks, probably 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks of supplies, just basic stuff, food, water, all that kind of jazz, on hand, just so that if you choose to do so, you can stay indoors. And if something does happen where we're forced to, then great, you already have all of that done. So I'd recommend having that just so you're not having to think about it. Um, oh, one other thing, which this one came up a lot, but so far the outdoors is not closed. So take time to step back from your desk, step back from, your phone, whatever it is, take a nice little walk outside, get some sunshine. It's been absolutely amazing outside lately. I don't know if you have seen, but there's these like pollution maps of China where it used to be all this pollution and now it's literally nothing. And there's like dolphins and these big fish swimming in the canals in Venice, Italy. Like it's just amazing. So take a couple minutes to just walk around outside. Yeah, Katie Sullivan says they close the beaches in Charleston, and that's going to happen. They close the beaches in Florida as well. They're basically closing anywhere that large groups of people can gather. But for most of us, we can still walk around in our neighborhood, or if you live in a densely populated area, at least go out on your balcony, just get some sun, get some vitamin D, get a little bit of fresh air. It's really good for you. Again, focus on something that you've been wanting to learn. Meditation is my number one. Fitness would be right after that, and then learning some sort of a skill. But focus on how we intend to come out of this. Don't focus on all of these unknowns that can be scary right now, because we have no control over that. All we have control over is our thoughts, and we get to choose those in every single moment. So choose a better thought, something like, I know that me and my family will come out of this better and stronger than we went into it. I know that my teams, my companies, my neighborhood, my community will come out of this stronger than we went into it. We have control over those thoughts, and choose to think something like that, because as most of us on this call know, well, we all know, but that I've talked to about, thoughts become things, thoughts become reality. So whatever it is that we're thinking about right now, that's what we're going to come out. That's what our reality is going to be on the other side of this thing. So don't worry about the things that we don't have control over. Focus your time and energy on the things that we do. During this time, make sure that you're giving and paying attention to things to be grateful for, and also compassion. There's a lot of people out in the world that are freaking out, that live in a whole different mindset, and they need massive, massive amounts of compassion. So drop all judgment of other people. Don't worry, don't get hung up on, I don't know, maybe some crazy person in a store that's freaking out about something. I saw this guy yesterday. I went in to get a couple bottles of wine, and the guy runs in, grabs like these little bottles of something, slams cash down on the counter, and goes to run out. And the clerk at the store says, well, hold on, sir, I got to cash you out. And the guy goes, slow your roll there, tchotchke, and just runs out. And a lot of people could be frustrated with that person, but instead of being frustrated, share compassion. We don't know what he's going through. We don't know if maybe he just lost somebody to coronavirus. We don't know what he's freaking out about. So take the opportunity to share compassion and gratitude right now, and think about all the things that we do have as individuals to be grateful for. I'll list a couple of questions that I really like. So one way to reframe things in the moment, if you're unsure of what to think about, like how to create a positive thought, if you're just struggling with it, questions are a great way to do that. So I mentioned a couple of these. Who can I serve now? What's an opportunity in this that I'm experiencing? What's something that I've wanted to learn, or an area of my life that I've wanted to grow in? How can I come out of this stronger than I am today? And that's a great question to reframe for yourself and for those around you. So if you have a family member or a friend or a coworker that's freaking out, ask them that question. How can you come out of this stronger than you are today? And that helps them reframe. What can I teach others? and what strength can I offer right now? What strength do I have that I can offer as a support to others? So just doing little things like this, maybe just taking time to reach out to people on social media, taking time to reach out to family members and friends that you haven't talked to. When I get jumbled up in my head a little bit, I go to basically two things. I go to one, meditation. So if I can't have a thought that I want to, and I'm struggling, I say, okay, I'm going to meditate. If my mind is too twisted up to meditate, then I go to connection. And what that looks like for me is I just open my phone and the context, I just scroll through like this, or I scroll through on like Facebook or Facebook Messenger, and I just look for a name that jumps out at me, and I send that person a little message just to let them know that I'm thinking about them, and is there anything that I can do right now to help or better serve them. All right. That is a huge majority. Actually, that's all I wanted to talk about. So I just wanted to share these things. If anybody wants to talk one-on-one, if this sparks something that you're struggling with, or even just something that you want to share, please reach out to me. I'm here during this time to help as many people as possible. That's what I'm feeling called to do. Hence why we're doing this. So remember, be compassionate, be grateful, choose your thoughts. This is the only thing really that we have full control over right now in these times of unknown. We know that we will come out of this the other side much stronger. We know that we're going to get through it. Lean on each other, have great compassion for everyone else around us, and just simply be safe and learn something really, really cool. So thank you everybody for taking time out of your morning. I know that you have a lot of things to do right now, but this really shows who you are as individuals, and this is the group that will be leaders through this. Yeah, Phyllis, this is the only thing we have control over when we think everything is known. That's great. So I appreciate all of you. Much, much love coming to you and your families and your friends and everybody in your community. And again, if I can do anything to serve, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if this was valuable, if anybody wants to do another one or has a specific topic, I'm more than happy to do it. I've been putting out other little videos that I'll share with you guys that might be of use or helpful. So, all right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye,
brother.
Larry and Debbie. Hey, Kathy. Or hey.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome, guys. You're amazing. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, you're amazing. Love you.
Love you.